I'm a physio practice owner in Brisbane. I've got a large clinic with about 20 staff. I've done other programs before, and the problem sometimes is because my business has grown really quickly. So now all of a sudden I've just got so many staff to manage, and I thought that as I grew bigger and added management, then I'd get my time back. But I've actually keep getting pulled back into this messy middle thing. So I started with Winnie, A, to help me sort that out, and B, because I know that she's really good at personal branding. And I thought, well, that's where I wouldn't want to go because I'm trying to run courses and things. I've got a really good business brain. I need someone who's smart enough to stay ahead of me. Winnie didn't feel the need to push me back into the basics, more trying to just audit what I was missing. What that had worked for 10 staff, but wasn't working for 20 to 25 staff. And so it was really looking at the systems and processes that we'd spent a long time developing and then starting to pull back on the complexity, pull back on the people who are all getting different rules and being a little bit firmer. The other thing I found good is if I'm telling Winnie how I'm doing something and then she tells me her advice, she shows me what she's actually doing in her clinic personally. So I can actually see not what someone thinks it should be, but how she's doing it. She's a doer, so she's also got lots of ideas of what to do next. And then what I also like is I take that information and I think about it. And then if I come back to Winnie and say, okay, I've made the decision to not do it your way, I'm going to do it this way, she doesn't harp on it. So sometimes in the past I find when people are giving you advice, if you don't follow their advice exactly, then they get a little bit upset about it and they don't want to deal with you anymore. And I think that that's really unfair. So I went inside and when he said, make sure you say the things that aren't good about me too. So I think she wants us to do what would be a negative. She's not a hand holder. So when I have a call with Winnie, I'm sometimes on the verge of tears because I'm so overwhelmed because I've overcommitted myself to so many things. And about 5 minutes in, she's like, right, what are we going to do? So she does let me get it off my chest, but then we can't dwell. We've got to move forward and try to prioritize and try to get me out of that height. But we've got a good system now that I'm allowed to whinge for like a period of time and then we have to move on. She's aware that time is money in business. And if we're just complaining about stuff, we're not getting anywhere. Otherwise, you just spend your whole time complaining and then you get to the end of an hour with someone and then you go, I've got no steps. I'm not actually any further along. I've just shared my frustration, but I'm still stuck. So I was saying to her at breakfast that she's got all this great information and then sometimes it's hard for us to take it from what she does to then for us to implement it. And I think where she's softened is now having that middle step where she comes back and says, right, show me again. We'll work together on those bits to get you started. I think at some times early on, she might have been a little bit fast, but as I've given her feedback, she's really nimble. She's great at receiving feedback and she just modifies as much as she can for each person, which I think is good, right? There's something else I wanted to talk about, which was when I signed up to the program, she told me what I would get. And what I actually get is a lot more than she said, because at first, when I did the first call, I was like, wow, this is hard because she moves so fast. It was like I was in traffic and there were all these shiny objects going past. But then what I didn't realize is that after she has those quarterly meets and all that sort of stuff, she hears common themes between us. And then she goes and makes little masterclasses on those themes. So she's very nimble. So I think there was one point where we were all talking about hiring structures. And so then she did a masterclass on that. And then a lot of us were like, what are we going to do with AI? Who should we learn from? She went and wrote an AI course. Do you know what I mean? So whatever is the thing that we're struggling with, or if there's a new tech that's coming out in AI for physios, she will have already tried it. And so she's very good at changing directions.